ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, May 29th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that every day. 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We were not with you yesterday, so glad to be back today. And boy, did the Pirates put a number on the Diamondbacks. Beat them up 10-1. That was a fun game if you're a Pirates fan. And, of course, yesterday the Royals got the better of the Reds 3-2. Guardians got the win over the Dodgers 7-4. So there was a lot of baseball yesterday we didn't get a chance to get into. And we don't have a chance to get into any today because the Bucks, the Reds, and the Guardians have today off. So no baseball to talk about today, but we've got a lot to get into. NBA Finals could be set. Tonight's Game 5, Indiana's taking on New York. Pacers lead 3-1. Knicks in 7, right? I said it. Knicks in 7. Only need 3 straight wins. Knicks in 7. I did say it. And then, of course, we've got the Stanley Cup possibly being set as well tonight as Edmonton is at Dallas. Oilers lead that series 3-1. You can listen to that on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. So, NBA more than likely is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder, which eliminated Minnesota, won that series 4-1 with that 124-94 victory. And then the Pacers could put the Knicks out of the New York area's misery tonight with a win. So we could have Oklahoma City and Indiana. Talk about not being excited for the NBA Finals. Here I am. I am the poster child for not being excited. And then the Stanley Cup, Florida is just doing Florida things. Won that series against Carolina yesterday. 4-1 is the final there. So Carolina at least got a win in the series, but it was a 5-3 win for Florida. And Florida looks unstoppable right now. I think Florida wins this thing. It's probably going to be against Edmonton. And I don't know how many people are going to tune in for that as well. So as far as the two major sports that are going on right now in the finals, I don't know what the appetite is for Oklahoma City and Indiana or Florida and Edmonton. If you were asking me which one's probably going to have more eyeballs, at least in the United States, it's probably going to be the NBA Finals. Stanley Cup should be more entertaining, but we will see. So that's what's happening as far as the national side of things are concerned. We got a lot of things locally to get into. We know game times now for 5 Marshall football games, and we will get into that with you. Also, the Sun Belt Conference Championship game has been moved to Friday, December 5th. That's going to be 7 o'clock on ESPN. So the good news is if it's Marshall and the Sun Belt Conference Championship, it's going to be on ESPN. That's a big deal. It's a solid television package. You're not getting lots of money compared to other packages, obviously, but you're getting some visibility there, and that gives your championship game a little bit more legitimacy being on ESPN, not ESPN2, not ESPNU, not ESPN Plus, but ESPN proper. And then, of course, game times for Thundering Herd fans, so we'll get into all of that. And there's also a vote going on, and I want to talk about this. There's a fan vote right now on Marshall's socials. They put out 4 images for new basketball court designs. Didn't we just get that thing updated? Didn't we just get that court taken care of? No, we're going to do it again. And I don't know if I like all the choices that have been presented. Now, how much of this is really just to generate engagement, and how much of this is to kind of really get a feel for what fans want for the court? So here are the options. You get 4 of them. And you got to go to social media to see them, get a better look at them. But option number 1, and the logo for the Sun Belt is a much better logo. You've got the green and the black gradient with the white outline. I like that. That's the logo we should see. And, of course, get your sponsorship logos on it. And I'm not necessarily in love with the baseline design here. So number 1 has got the black. And in the end zones, you got Thundering Herd in the Marshall Lightning script, the better term for it. And the paint's green. And then in the wood, you see the Marco, like the circa 2000, the Marco head, just enough. You see the eyes and you see the horns, the Marco head. Now, I don't like that. Didn't we just refresh the Marco logo that most everyone likes with the sailor hat? Why not use that? You spend a lot of time, energy, and effort redesigning, refreshing that mark. Why not use that mark? Instead, you've got the refresh from like circa I think was it 2000? Wasn't that the year we also introduced the Scooby-Doo from Hell look? So I don't like that one. Then choice 2, you take the outline of Marco, the modern one out. By the way, the feet are still on the court. It's in the image, so don't worry there. Bruce's shoe marks are there. Also in the second one, which is still the black, it's got in a couple of the corners, it's got that Marco head. And I don't like that. So say no to 1 for me, say 2 to no for me. 3 gives me the Kelly green. So the baseline, everything's Kelly green. You still got the outline of the Marco head there in the wood. I don't like that as well. So throw that out for me. I don't want that. Number 4, it's the green. And again, everything's got the Thundering Herd in the end zones. I don't know if I like having anything else there. It's got herdzone.com on one of the sides. And I think that's going to get covered up a little bit. That's actually a waste of space, just the way that the seating is arranged with the scoring tables and the premium seating. So I don't know if I like that necessarily there. But if I'm going to pick one, I would pick 4 because it's clean-ish, clean enough. It's classy. You got the Marshall logo in the center for all of them. We go back to the green. Marshall's colors are green and white with the black as a third color. I'm okay with this. If you're going to refresh this a little bit, I would go with that one. Just keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it classy. You don't have to go crazy, wild and crazy on the basketball court. In football, if you want to do something a little bit more, sure. And I just don't like the choice of the Marco head on this one. For the other one, I think 4 is my choice. If you've seen these designs, what do you think? If you like any of them, why? Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I've seen a lot of people, it's kind of varied right now. Just looking, again, social media. Yeah, I don't know if we're actually going to pick a winner based on social media. If we are, we are. But there have been a lot of people that have picked 1. There are a lot of people that have picked 4. I see some for 3. I don't see too many people. Actually, I've seen a couple for 2. But I think 4 is mine. And again, that's the clean green. The clean green is what I'm calling it. If you've taken a look at this thing, what do you think? So we'll get into that with you. I'm not a fan of that buffalo head. Go with the one with the Marco sailor hat. Go with that one. The refreshed classic logo. That's the one that a lot of Herd fans grew up with. I know we're at that point now where a lot of Herd fans grew up with that ugly one. It doesn't make it right just because you grew up with it. But the classic one, the one that we refreshed and rebranded, I would go with that. I would love to see that one on the court if we're going to make that change. Maybe there's enough time to make a design change. So we'll talk about that with you. And, of course, we'll get into this schedule. The times are set for 5 games. We'll do that with our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And if we get time, there are a couple other things I want to touch about. The CW is looking to add more bowl games. I think that's a terrible idea, just to give you the short of it. March Madness, we might see an expansion of teams in the NCAA tournament for March Madness. I think that's a terrible idea as well, to get to the short of it. And then Cincinnati Bengals. They've got the Ring of Honor games set, and the nominees are out. I'll tell you who I think's a lock. If I'm picking one, I'll tell you who I think is a lock to get in the Ring of Honor for the Cincinnati Bengals. And, of course, that always leads me to the discussion. When's the Marshall Ring of Honor coming? When's that going to be a thing? And this, of course, has to be a football high honor. There's a certain threshold to get into the Hall of Fame, and I respect that threshold, and it's important. But the Ring of Honor, You have to exceed the threshold. This has got to be such an elite club. That's why we're doing a Ring of Honor. Absolutely. Maybe the criteria is different for football. We know Chad Pennington. We know Byron Leftwich. We know Randy Moss. We know Troy Brown. And the list goes on. There are several that we could put in a Marshall Ring of Honor. But the Bengals have got their nominees. We'll talk about that. And, of course, any direction you take me will deviate just a little bit. And I'll give you that number one more time, our text line this hour. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-825. Now you know the numbers. We'll be back with more on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big on everything for your next outdoor project when you shop at Menards. Greenworks 40-volt cordless tools have everything you need to keep your yard looking great. The Greenworks cordless trimmer and edger is lightweight, starts instantly, and comes with a 40-volt battery and charger. Pick one up today. On sale now through June 1st. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
The soundtrack of your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, May 30th, it's Emeritus College Night with the Settlement on the Marshall OBGYN stage. Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Next Friday, June 6th, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. Mark your calendar for Friday, June 20th, when the local Honeys make their 9th Street Live debut. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live is driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington, in between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kindred Communication. Don't miss the fun.
The power of Dell AI with Intel Inside is transforming the world of pro sports. Teams can see curveballs coming with predictive analytics. Coaches can use AI insights to help players improve their shots in real time. And fans can get more out of every winning moment with AI-enhanced replays.
Unbelievable! What a play!
See how Dell Technologies with Intel Inside can power your wins at Dell.com/win.
Earn more with 4 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 4%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by one of the 8 Poca Valley Bank locations today. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Spring is here. Clear that pollen and debris with Thoroughbred Express Wash. New members, your first month of unlimited washes is just $10. Any package, anytime. Want the best? Try the Secretariat Wash. Now with Graphene X, advanced technology that protects your car like high-tech armor. Fewer washes, better shine, and long-term paint protection. Plus, enjoy complimentary amenities every time you visit. Join the winner's circle with Thoroughbred Express. Get started at thoroughbredexpress.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You saved my life. You held my hand when I was scared. You helped me say goodbye to my dad. You were an example for me. You gave me strength when I thought I had none left. I couldn't tell you then, but I want to say thank you, all of you, for everything. Thank you to the physicians, nurses, and others working in America's hospitals and health systems. A message from the American Hospital Association, American Medical Association, and American Nurses Association.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Thursday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. You just joined us. Marshall Basketball has put out on its social media accounts 4 new designs for the basketball court refresh. And I'll give you my unfiltered take on all of them. The first one has the Marco head from back in the day, the rebrand. It's got the black trim on the court. Don't like that one. The second one's it's got the black trim, no Marco on the court. And basically, it's just different shades of the wood grain to kind of give that outline. I'm okay with 2. 3's the green version of it with the Marco head. Don't like that. 4 is the green court. I like that. Logo, everything else, I'm good with that. Not exactly spectacular, but it's a nice refresh. I'm good with it. Didn't we just change these things? Your vote is being asked for. I'm voting for if I'm going to do this. If you go on social media, there's the instructions. Texture just said, Paul. Court number 3, but I'm in the same boat as you and would like the sailor hat Marco a lot better. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know what? If the sailor hat Marco was the Marco, I would be on board with probably 3. Can we say we're over the black? Is that just me? And I'm not against black. I don't have a problem with it. It's just I think that the green would pop more. I know why we did black in the end zones of the football stadium. The black pops. I'm on board with that. Basketball, I think the green would pop a little bit better than the black. Maybe I'm just on the wrong side of history with this, but I'm going to go with 4 without the Marco because I don't like the Marco they're using. I know they kind of look okay on the softball helmets, but I'm not a big fan of that Marco. So give me the sailor hat Marco or give me 0 Marco on my court. You can choose online. It'll maybe go towards the actual decision, and you can tell me what you think as well. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, I don't like any of them. Appreciate that. Short and sweet. You don't have to like any of them. I'm with you. If I've got to vote, though, I'm going with 4. Another for 3. Texter says, I like option 3. Our colors are green, not black. I'm right there with you. Green and white, and you can use black. Black's an accent color. I'm okay with it. You want a special black jersey? I'm okay with that. I don't have problems with the black. I'm not screaming at the rafters like, give me green and white or give me nothing. It's just that, you know what? I think you should emphasize the school colors a little bit more and use the black as the third color to accent. It shouldn't be a primary. It should be a complementary color to this. But hey, more people are picking 3 than I thought. Maybe I'm on the outside. I'm the outlier here when it comes to the Marco image inside the court area. I would prefer the sailor hat, but 3 seems to be the winner so far. I think we can all agree the Kelly Green look is probably the better look for the court refresh. If you haven't seen this yet, hit all the Marshall social medias. It's posted there. You can see what it looks like. Give yourself an idea of what you can expect if this is going to be the court redesign. Let's see, do they have it up on herdzone.com? Let me look. I don't see it in the recent stories just yet, but it is on the social media, so you can find it there and get an idea of what the courts look like. The big story probably coming out from Marshall today, not necessarily the court refresh, but we got game times now. We have 5 game times, and the league released a lot of times earlier today, so that's where we were starting to finally get an idea of what the schedule would look like. And the Sun Belt Conference Football Championship game is going to move to Friday, December 5th. That's going to be 7 o'clock, and it's going to be on ESPN. That's a pretty big deal. It shows that ESPN and the Sun Belt at least have a really good partnership going so far in this round of the contract. Now, 5 game times. What were we looking for? Well, you want to know when Marshall plays Georgia, obviously. Well, guess what? We know now when Marshall plays at Georgia. It's going to be a 3:30 kick, and that's going to be on ESPN. So if you can't make the game, it's going to be on ESPN and probably on the strength of Georgia there. So that's your first game. Now you know if you were heading down, you were heading down, but now you know it's a mid-afternoon game. And then the second game is going to be on ESPN Plus, and it's the home game, home opener with Missouri State. That is set for 6 p.m. ESPN Plus, and it's also the Wear Green game. So if you show up in black, you show up in pink, you show up in white, you're doing it wrong. It's the Wear Green game. Now, the next time we got is the same thing. It's the Eastern Kentucky game. It's the home game, the second one, and that's also set for 6 p.m. It's also set for ESPN Plus. So really, this is just Marshall streaming at this point, and that's the Wear White game. So if you wear the pink, you wear the green, you wear the black, you're doing it wrong. It's the Wear White game. Now, Marshall's on the road September 20th at Middle Tennessee. That's a little bit later. Platform has not been determined yet outside of it's going to be in the ESPN family of stations. That's a 7 o'clock kick. So you're getting a mid-afternoon game in the first game, and then the next three, they're going to be evening games for Herd fans. I know Herd fans like those evening games, so here we are, 3 consecutive evening games starting with September 6th. And then we got to jump all the way to October 30th. That's the game against Coastal Carolina. Now, what makes that significant? October 30th, that is a 7:30 p.m. game. Is going to be on either ESPN or ESPN2. That's going to be your Thursday night game. And then the other time we have, as I mentioned, is the Sun Belt Championship. So those are the times we have. 3:30 for Georgia, home at 6:30 against Missouri State. 6 against Eastern Kentucky at home. 7 p.m. at Middle Tennessee. And then Coastal Carolina is set for 7:30. The primetime action for the Thundering Herd. Dare I ask, do you like the times? Is that even a question? Hey, do you like the times? I mean, it's not like we're talking Ohio State fighting to get off Big Noon Saturday. Fighting. It's not like Herd fans are protesting. Oh, you're playing all these noon games. Nothing that tragic, but we like these times. Are we good with these times? Should Marshall if Marshall doesn't have a national television game, should these just default to, 6 p.m.? You know what? I might be able. You might talk me into 6 p.m. Now, as we get into October, November, we get into the latter part of the schedule. You probably want the earlier games. Late in the early part of the schedule, early in the latter part of the schedule. Is that fair? I think that's fair. Texture says, Paul, actually, they should go with Werewolf Markle on the court. The one when they tried to change the mascot's costume that looked horrible. I'm just joking. LOL. You mean the demonic Scooby-Doo? Yeah, I'm with you there. I know. No, that's a horrible, horrible, horrible Marco. And I'm not naming his name, but I'm friends with one of those people that put that horror on us, and I remind them. I'll actually share your text. Werewolf Marco in the court. That's horrible. I love it, though. Thanks for the text. Also from the text, I like the 3:30 p.m. game against Georgia, and I love night games. I appreciate that text as well. Hey, night games work for a lot of reasons, and a lot of it has to do with just the area you're in. I don't want to say the basis of the schedule should reflect just the realities, because you got to take the best time available if it's going to be television involved. But there are a lot of people that I know work on Saturdays. There are a lot of people that have youth activities on Saturdays. I hear that. I understand that. For me, I like the earlier games. Get your day started, go. But I'm not tailgating. And so that has something to do with it, I'm sure, for a lot of people. Hey, we like tailgating. We like getting up early, getting in our green and white striped overalls and bibs and rolling up on the tailgate lot and the west lot, and then opening up the smoker and cooking for 6, 7, 8 hours, and then getting quite refreshed with our refreshing beverages, and then going and cheering on the herd. That's a lot of people's thing. That's the tradition for a lot of people, and they want to have as much time as possible. But then again, I've seen early games where the herd will play and then the game's over and there are people in that lot for hours afterwards. So I don't know if the time necessarily is a true deterrent for herd fans. It's just convenient to have all day to get ready to go tailgate, and then you come into the stadium 6 o'clock. I like the 6 o'clock. If we're going to compromise, I'll take 6 over 7. But I think later in the season, we got to go with the earlier games just because of the weather. And you know what? It might be more pleasant in the afternoon than in the evening in these later times, these later dates, I mean. 304-396-TALK is our text line, 304-396-8255. Early games, late games, also court refresh. Do we like it? Do we not like it? I voted for 4 if you've seen it on social media. If you haven't, go check it out. You got a few minutes. Go look at it on social media if you can. Which design do you like? You don't have to like any of them, but I'm picking 4. A lot of you have picked 3. I respect it. I just don't like the Marco we're using for that design. Give me the sailor hat Marco, or don't give me Marco at all. More coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Spring is here. Clear that pollen and debris with Thoroughbred Express Wash. New members, your first month of unlimited washes is just $10. Any package, anytime. Want the best? Try the Secretariat Wash. Now with Graphene X, advanced technology that protects your car like high-tech armor. Fewer washes, better shine, and long-term paint protection. Plus, enjoy complimentary amenities every time you visit. Join the winner's circle with Thoroughbred Express. Get started at thoroughbredexpress.com. Hurt at work? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
The soundtrack of your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, May 30th, it's Emeritus College Night with the Settlement on the Marshall OBGYN stage. Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Next Friday, June 6th, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. Mark your calendar for Friday, June 20th, when the local Honeys make their 9th Street Live debut. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live is driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington, in between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kindred Communication. Don't miss the fun.
Big flavors, big savings, and top-notch quality. Only at Food Fair. Food Fair is excited to announce 3 new signature brands. Food Club brings families together with delicious, high-quality meals without the name brand price. Craven Flavors satisfies your cravings with bold, mouth-watering snacks, pizzas, and sweet treats. And Simply Done makes life easier with household essentials that get the job done right. Visit Food Fair today and enjoy the quality and savings in every aisle. Food Fair Market.
When you're hiring, Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this Thursday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. While we've been debating the merits of a court refresh, if you haven't seen this, Marshall put out the designs earlier on social media. I am picking the one that is Kelly Green, and absent of the Marco, that I don't necessarily like that version. A lot of you have picked the Kelly Green with the Marco design, but I think we all can agree Sailor Marco would be a lot better. You can check those out on all the Marshall social medias right now to see what you like court design. And, of course, we also have times for 5 Marshall games. 3 of them in the early part of the season are going to be evening games. We got a primetime game at Coastal Carolina, 7:30 p.m. on October 30th. And then Marshall opening up at Georgia. That's going to be at 3:30 p.m. I think a lot of people like that. It's a good compromise. It's not one of those big noon Saturday games that Ohio State hates playing in front of the national audience on Fox. They hate those noon games. Well, when you're Ohio State and you're good and Fox is your network, you're going to get picked for more of those games than you like. So speaking of networks that are picking games, and it's more than I like, the CW is looking to add some more bowl games. I'm not on board with more bowl games. Now, if you want to expand college football opportunities, regular season, I'm all for that, but I hope we're not looking at increasing bowl inventory, just maybe picking up current bowl inventory, according to some reports. And I'm hoping that this really doesn't come to fruition. The CW wants to add more games. It's had some success with this programming, and so it should, because after all, what's on the CW? Can you name 3 programs on the CW right now? Because I can only name one, and that's because it's promoted on other networks. I don't know what's on the CW right now. I just don't watch the CW. There's nothing there, for me, at least that I'm aware of. But live sports is always going to be a valuable property. And you're on broadcast television, and that's going to make sense for a lot of people. You have live sports, broadcast television. Broadcast is still going to have the greatest reach. I know a lot of Gen Z have probably forgotten probably don't even know how to turn on a television that has an antenna or how to understand broadcast television to begin with, but it still has the most exposure. It has the maximum reach. You can get a digital antenna, plug it up to your television, hit the scan button. You get all the free TV channels you possibly could want. It works beautifully. And so this is going to be a valuable package. And of course, again, broadcast television, you have must-carry laws. And if you have cable or satellite, it's pretty much there as well. But I don't fret about stuff like that because, hey, if I had to do a skinny package, I could still get the broadcast channels. Get an inexpensive antenna on Amazon. Hook it up. Hey, I could watch the CW. But this has been big because the CW, I do know this. I don't know any of the television programs, but I know you can get ACC basketball there. I know you can get NASCAR. I don't watch. Grand Slam track is there. AVP beach volleyball is there. The PBA is there. Again, nothing I'm going to watch. NXT, which is a property of the WWE, that's there. That's the one program I know. And so they're having some success there with these programs. And so they're looking to try to pick up some bowl games. However, which bowl games are they going to pick up? Because ESPN owns, operates, and broadcasts almost all of them. It's the ESPN Bowl Network. So there's not too many opportunities. I remember as a child on New Year's Day, you could tune into several bowl games at the same time. ABC, CBS, NBC. Could watch all these games all day. They staggered them maybe, but there were games on all the time. Texture says, Paul, check on what SEC and Big Ten are trying to do. College sports, money, they want it all. Absolutely, they want it all. Appreciate that text. And, of course, I think you're alluding to the big issue, which is the SEC wants 4 automatic qualifier positions. The Big Ten wants 4 automatic qualifier positions. So that's 8 of the proposed 16. And then 2 to the ACC. That's 10. And then 2 to the Big 12. So that's 12. 1 goes to the highest ranked champion from the group of 5. And that leaves 3 at-large spots. 3 at-large spots. And you're going with a ranking system now. So you don't have an automatic bye anymore. You have an automatic qualifier, but you don't have, if you are one of the first 4 that get a automatic qualifier position, you get a bye also. No, we're doing it a little bit more sensibly. If that means there's going to be 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams because the rankings just go that way, okay, I'm fine with that because it might not be that way always. And the top 16, of course, you're going to mess that up just a little bit because the top rated group of 5 champion might not be in that top 16 of the rankings. It might be 17. Like, hey, look, we ranked this team 17th, but hey, you're the top-rated group of 5 champion, so you get in. Someone's getting left out, and I understand what that's going to do. Same thing with the NCAA, the kind of idea, let's expand the NCAA basketball tournament a little bit more. I don't think that's a good idea. With the college football playoff, give me the top 16, and I felt like it would be better as a fan that if you had every conference represented, every conference champion gets in, but that's not going to set well with those power leagues. And I don't think we should go to the 4-4-2-2-1-3 model because if the SEC has 6 really good teams, or maybe 7 could get in if we're going based on the SEC gets the 1 automatic qualifier, and then based on the rankings, you get 6 more, so you get 7. I think it's a merit-based system. Nobody is arguing that the SEC is not a tough conference. I don't think anyone is arguing the Big Ten is a tough conference. I think for the health of the game, you should have more opportunities across the board. There should be a clear path. If you're in the Big Ten, you're in the Big 12, you're in the SEC, you're in the ACC, you're in the Sun Belt. And, of course, don't forget Notre Dame's in this mix as well. Notre Dame is going to most years get in because it's going to fall within the rankings. And Notre Dame might actually get a first-round bye, get to play host 1 year, or get to be a first-round bye recipient, and you don't get the host, but you get the first round off and you get to go to one of the bigger venues. Who knows? I think it's a system where you 1 automatic qualifier. If you're going to try to play nice, the Big Ten, the SEC probably have more of the cards here, but it should be 1 automatic qualifier. And then every other team gets in based on merit. And the one thing that maybe makes this a little bit more agreeable is that there is a path to get in for a group of 5 school. Since we're basing this off the autonomy leagues and then the rest of the leagues, and the money, of course, is going to the autonomy leagues because those are where the big television packages are. And you can't tell the Big Ten, hey, sorry, you can't go out and make all of that money if someone's willing to sign the contract to pay you all of that money. But if you want to try to make this sport a little bit more manageable, there needs to be, and I know this is probably a dirty word, regulation. And you're not seeing it from Congress, which several high-profile leaders have asked for over the years. A little bit more regulation to make it fair. That's why I like pro sports. I know the formula to get in. If my team's good enough, it gets in. If my team isn't good enough, it gets in. The formula for the NCAA tournament, I know there's an automatic qualifier, so there's a path. If you're good enough to win that, you get in. But now hoping to expand that a little bit more, maybe to 72 or 76. I don't think there's a sweet spot there. 68 was, all right, we'll do that. That's fine. I get it. But now 72 or 76. And obviously, as the texter just said a few minutes ago, money. Yeah, that's gonna cause more money to be paid out, I'm sure. That's going to be more inventory. That's going to be more of a payday for somebody. Because the argument is, here's the quote. Here's the quote. And this is from Charlie Baker, president of the NCAA. If you have a tournament that's got 64 or 68 teams in it, you're going to have a bunch of teams that are probably among what most people would consider to be the best 68 or 70 teams in the country that aren't going to make the tournament, period. He also said, the point behind going from 68 to 72 or 76 is to basically give some of those schools that were probably among the 72, 76, 68, 64 best teams in the country a way into the tournament. Cited Indiana State for an example. Played Seton Hall in the NIT title game. Fell short of the tournament but got in the NIT. I don't want to call myself a purist by any stretch of the imagination here, but as a observer of these things, yes, I think there should be an avenue for teams to get in. That's why we have automatic qualifiers. You get your bid, and the leagues have decided, hey, we're going to give it to the tournament champion because that's more inventory. We can make more money. You look at some of these tournaments. I mean, I was looking at some of the baseball tournaments, and there were nobody was there. The crowds, where were the crowds for a lot of these? And I'm not talking just the Sun Belt here. There's nobody at some of these venues here, but it was television inventory. So that's why we have these tournaments, because it's television inventory. You're making money. And it gives a school like Marshall an opportunity, finish fourth in the regular season. Okay, Marshall has an outside shot, maybe getting in the NCAA tournament, getting into a regional, because it might get hot, win the conference tournament, and be playing baseball at the NCAA tournament. Okay, I see your point there. I get it. But when is it too many teams? Is 76 enough? Well, you know what? We're one of the top teams. We didn't get in. Do we go to a higher number than that? Let's just go to 96. Forget all the other tournaments. Let's go to 96 and be done with this. Let's just have one big monster tournament. Top 96 teams get in after all the automatic qualifiers are factored into this. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Can't you tell I didn't have a show yesterday? I am all fired up into this. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's total mayhem at Ironton Automotive now through May 31st. Get payments as low as $175 a month. Low down payments and up to $5,000 over KBB for your trade. It's our biggest sale of the year, and it's going to be absolute mayhem. Plus, your guaranteed credit approval, no matter your credit situation. Don't miss it. Now through May 31st at Ironton Automotive on South 3rd Street in Ironton. Visit Ironton Automotive or call 740-532-1961 to join in on the mayhem today.
The soundtrack of your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, May 30th, it's Emeritus College Night with the Settlement on the Marshall OBGYN stage. Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Next Friday, June 6th, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. Mark your calendar for Friday, June 20th, when the local Honeys make their 9th Street Live debut. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live is driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington, in between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Arena, and Kindred Communication. Don't miss the fun.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013. Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013 or biglou.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to our Thursday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Quick hit to the text line before we go. Texter says, talking about the money players involved in college athletics, Texter says, Paul, I think this is the start they wanted all money. Watch and see. Appreciate the text. They want all the money, yeah. Don't you want all the money? I want all the money. I think I would be a better steward of all the money. I mean, don't you think you would be a better steward of all the money? I think I would be a great steward of all the money. I'd put it to good use, that's for sure. I don't think I would do anything stupid with it. Buy islands or anything like that. Just some good common sense fiscal spending with all the money that I would possess. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.